All right, joining us, Democratic Senator Alyssa Slotkin of Michigan. She serves on the Armed Services Committee in the Senate. I messed up and said the House before. Senator, thank you so much. Appreciate you joining us.
Thanks for having me.
The president thinks it would be unfair to leave Iran without any missiles. What do you say?
I mean, look, I think when it comes to issues of war, such consequential things, we just have to be really clear about what we put into it and what we get out of it. And this president, his own words, and why he said we were getting into this war was to prevent them from having a nuclear capability, prevent them from having ballistic missiles, prevent them from being able to export terrorism around the region. So to listen to him say now to a group of, press that it's okay that they have ballistic missiles, I mean, that is not what he was saying 4 months ago when he started this war. So, and by the way, it was a huge criticism of his against the Obama deal, right? The JCPOA, that the Obama deal allowed them to keep their ballistic missiles and kept them exporting terrorism. And here we have with his MOU, it's not even comparable to the Obama deal. It's worse by a lot, by about $300 billion and a bunch of vague language. So I have a real concern as a national security person, and then certainly the cost of this war is being borne by the American citizens.
Explain your national security concerns.
So my national security concerns are, you led us into war, and you created a problem that wasn't there to begin with, the Strait of Hormuz. The Iranians have strategic geography. It's Middle East 101 that they can block the Strait of Hormuz. They did. And to get them to open up again, we are saying, basically not much on things like preventing them from actually being able to reconstitute a nuclear program. We're allowing them to have ballistic missiles, and we're allowing them to continue to export terrorism. Hezbollah is doing it, all the time. And I think, and we're paying $300 billion as an added tip for them, the Iranians, opening up the Strait of Hormuz. What that says to the rest of the world is if you leverage your strategic geography and you push back on the United States as an adversarial nation, the United States, a superpower, will take a bad deal in order to get out of it. And to me, that's a bad precedent to start. It's a bad problem.
So what should the president do? What's the better option? I know, I think you lost your earpiece. Do you have it? I'm gonna give her 1 second. Let's go back. Has she got that earpiece back in? I think we've lost the senator. Hopefully we can reconnect. I'm going to play a soundbite that I'm going to hope she can react to as we figure out these audio issues. Let me play the Senator. I think you're back with us.
I am. I'm sorry.
Okay, good. Okay, I'm not going to play the soundbite. I'm going to ask you a follow-up question. What's the better option? What does the president do? What's the better course of action now? I mean, getting into the war, bad idea, but we're already in it. We're here. We're now negotiating. What's the better option?
Well, look, we want the war to end, and I think all Americans feel strongly about that, so we are where we are. But I think it just, to me, it shows you, first of all, there's a ton of things that are not nailed down in writing. Right? Obama's JCPOA had things in writing. This thing does not. So we didn't even get that. I would have liked to have had some sort of concrete commitment on things like the nuclear program, the ballistic missile program, the terrorism program. I got real concerns about the money and $300 billion of American taxpayer dollars when we can't afford health care or groceries here does not ring true to people. And so I don't understand, if we're going to stretch out this war for 4 months for a worse deal than we had years ago, I just can't stand behind that as a precedent-setting matter.
What do you make of pulling Clayton's nomination hearing today, Jay Clayton for DNI, and Donald Trump having what was described earlier on the show as something of a trump card with Bill Pulte going in as acting DNI on Friday?
Well, look, he put in Bill Pulte to be the head and acting director of national intelligence. He has zero national security experience. We don't even think he has a security clearance or has ever handled classified information. And then, more importantly, we have seen Bill Pulte in his current job, his housing job, use American citizen data to create fake, sort of cases against Trump's enemies. He has weaponized his current job against people that Trump doesn't like. The idea that this person is sitting at the top of 17 different intelligence agencies should send a shiver down the spine of all Americans. It's literally dangerous because he'll do anything Trump wants him to do. Access to information about American citizens, tools the intelligence community has. So I thought we had a bipartisan reaction to Bill Pulte, and that's why we got a very, very quick nomination of someone else. And I don't know much about him. I'm willing to consider him, but then he refused to let him show up for his own confirmation hearing. So I'm going to let the Republicans work this out with the Republicans, because there's plenty of people who don't like Pulte in that job. Here's the answer. There is a deputy director DNI. He's a professional person, a serious person, a career person. He knows how to run sensitive agencies. Let him be the acting DNI. And then figure out who you want to nominate and let him show up to his confirmation hearing. There's no need for Bill Pulte to be serving where he is.
Final question for you today. Do you want to run in 2028? Do you think do you want to run? Do you want to be president?
Look, I have said very openly that it does not have to be me, but I definitely want to be a part of the next generation of leaders who does things differently. I'm a brand new senator. This is new to me here. And I can tell you that I think there needs to be real change in this community, in this Senate, in the Hill in general, and Washington writ large. And I want to be a part of that next generation. It does not have to be me. But I am certainly here to be a voice of, I'm a Gen Xer myself, but like something different than what we've got going on.
Yeah, but you're on the younger side of the Gen Xers. I know that.
Yeah. Yeah.
When you think about whether you want to run, what do you think about? What do you think your focus would be? What do you think the focus needs to be in this country right now?
Well, look, I think the existential threat to the country is actually not whatever's going on in Iran. I don't think it's what's going on in Russia. I don't think it's a terrorist organization. I think the existential threat to this country is the shrinking middle class. I think we are in big trouble if people work hard and play by the rules and they can't get ahead and their kids do worse than them. That is literally a betrayal of what we all expect as the American dream. And I think that explains a lot of our broken politics right now. People feel desperate. They feel like they can't achieve things, and they look for other people who don't look like them or talk like them or pray like them to blame. So in our democracy, I think that's a real problem. So I don't care who you are, Democrat or Republican, if you don't get that that's what you should be focused on and not things abroad, I don't know how to help you, because that's what the country wants.
Yeah, I think that's a smart take. So from one geriatric millennial to an infant Gen Xer, thank you for joining us today.